Hey everybody, Captain V from AllPro shooting a quick video on how to make your own jig. We sell over 250 colors of silicone skirts. We sell our silicone skirts to some of the biggest custom jig makers there are, especially here in the Northeast, down in Texas and California. And the one thing that we haven't done is that we haven't really showed our local community of fishermen, our local Facebook friends, on how you can make your own jig in just a matter of seconds. Now, I just want to say that these jigs that you're going to make are not going to be the same quality as maybe the AllPro Big Eye Swingtail Slayer. You know, that's made wide in with stainless steel wire with extra big eyes and custom double connectors and so forth, or like a Mike's jig, which is professionally painted and looking for a certain tone and colors, or Palmer tackle that just makes some incredible stuff with, you know, just years of decades of experience on how to mix tabs and get the right look and the right shades. But these jigs that I'm going to show you today are perfect for the guy who wants to go out there, fool around, try different colors, don't want to spend a ton of money, because these jigs, they cost you less than probably $3 to make. And it's just a real easy way. So I just want to go over a few things. One is that you got your jig heads. You got all different jig heads, and you probably need, you basically need a few elements. You need a jig head. So you pick your favorite jig head. You could get these jig heads from AllPro. You could get the jig heads online. I'm sure eBay has them. I'm sure Amazon has them. A Google search will probably come up with a bunch. So you go and you get your jig heads. So you get, you know, kind of a little jig ball like this. You could purchase one of our custom made. We own this mold. This is the Big Eye double connector swingtail. You connect the hook with a split ring off the back here. So you could buy these heads from us unpainted, just like that. I believe this is a Mike's jig, a 1 ounce jig. I'm not sure if Mike sells them to the general public this way. We were fortunate that we were able to get our hands on a few. I don't know if we're able to get them in the future, but I have one here to show you. These I'm sure I purchased off of eBay years ago. This is a nice like little bullet head jig, a 1/2 ounce. So you need a jig head. Our end product is going to look like this. This happens to be on a Mike Jigs ball jig here, 6/0 hook. And I'm going to show you how to make that. This one here is on our custom head. Again, less than 30 seconds to show you how to do that. Just want to show you a couple different things. And the whole thing about this is letting your imagination run wild. Do what you want to do. This is a glow. It's really cool. It's kind of an aqua blue glow with a pink glow with a white in there. We put some fancy eyes on there. And that's that one. And then we have our little bullet teaser. Here it is. We like the kind of the pink. And you know what? Sometimes just natural colors work great. Your blacks, your whites. You want to go with your chartreuse. We sell all different skirts. When I say different skirts, we sell over 250 different colors and patterns. And these are sold in 25 tabs to 100 tabs to the general public. So give you an idea, I like to use 3 tabs for my Northeast type of jigs. If you're freshwater fishing and you're using jigs that are less than, let's say, 3/4 ounce, 2 tabs are absolutely fine. So if you think about it, you could get 8 jigs, you know, out of 1 bag. Or you're better off speaking, if you're going to use 2 colors, you could get 16 jigs out of like 2 bags, right? Because you got to mix the colors. You do maybe 1 or 2 tabs of this and 1 or 2 tabs of that. So you need tabs. And then you can play around with colors. So what I'm going to show you, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some of our orange crush. This is an orange tab with some gold spots. That's the other thing I want to bring to your attention too. It's always good, I find it, unless you're looking for something specific. If you really don't have anything specific, but you're looking for something that's kind of neat, that might flash and catch an eye or attract a fish or so forth, you always want to get at least one pattern with something printed on it. It kind of breaks it up, gives it some contrast. So this will be the one that I use that will have a little pattern on it. And it's an orange crush, and that's gold spots on an orange silicone tab. There's about 22 strands on this tab, and we sell them and make them where they're attached. And I'm going to show you very simply, once we put it on the jig head, how you just cut it and make that jig. So we're going to go with that. I like, again, it's all what you're up to, what you're into doing. This is really cool. See, and that's the thing, you have to experiment. This is a clear with iridescent and black sparkles. It's probably tough to see it here, but in your hand, it really stands out. So we're going to go with that. And then I'm going to go with the brown. I know it's a little boring, but I'm kind of looking for a kind of a little sea robin type of look here. So I want to get some little sea robin in there. So now, a little trick of the trade, and you're going to learn this and develop this yourself, is any tab that's in the center is going to be the one that's on the outside of the jig. So if you want the color, your main color, on the outside of the jig, you want to start it as at the center of your tabs when you put them together. So in this case, I'm going to go with the highlight color actually on the outside. And I'm going to go with the orange for his belly, kind of. And the back, I'm going to have under that white. So you're just going to put your tabs together like that. The other thing that you need, as I make a mess here, the other thing that you need is a collar. This is a big, the big difference between what we're making here and a professional jig. So a professional jig, they'll use stainless steel wire, and they'll wire tie them in. Our big eye swing tail jigs, they're all wired in with stainless steel wire. It's for longevity purposes, holds them in, nothing falls apart, salt water doesn't break it down. Or other people will tie them in with thread and then with a sealant of a glue of some kind or a resin and seal it. I really don't have a preference one or the other. If you get a guy who does a really good job with thread, that's absolutely perfect. I mean, look at Spros. They've lasted forever and ever, you know. They've been in business for, you know, decades, making them with thread. So thread is good. You know, I don't have an issue with that. At the same time, we make ours with wire. We just prefer making them with wire. So it's kind of a preference. These are going to be made out of collars. And I've got 2 different size collars here. We sell 4 different size collars. This is a 2mm collar. It's really small. I'll get a picture of that, you know, put up in here somewhere, okay? And then this is a 4mm collar. Most of your jigs that you're going to be using when you're making these here are going to accept a 2mm collar, a 3mm collar, or a 4mm collar. We also sell 6mm collars, and those are for like your bigger jigs, that bigger necks. And what determines what collar you're going to use is the size of the neck. If you look at this here, this is a very small neck, okay? And this is what we call the neck of the jig right here. So this is pretty thin and small, while you compare that maybe to something that's larger like of this, like this one here, you can see that this has a much larger, neck on it. So you couldn't get that little collar over this. So you would have to use a larger collar. This here is 3 tabs. So you have an idea what 3 tabs look like. This one here, again, just 3 tabs. So for the purpose of this, we're going to go with this bullet head. And this is a 1/2 ounce bullet head. What I like to do, you don't have to do it, is I just like to crush that keeper down just a tad. And the reason for that, it just makes it a little easier for my collar to slip over, but still there's a little bump there to protect it so my collar doesn't slip off. And what's great about this is that if your collars shift, if your collars, get loose on you, or you lose some tabbing material, you made it yourself. You could just fix it. And that's the other thing regarding when we speak about quality and so forth. When you're making with bands, it's kind of easy to move them around and adjust them. You're using a wide-in technique or a wide-in technique. That's it. It's permanent. You're not moving those tabs. They're in there. So that's another reason why the pros will go with a wire or a thread. So I have my 3 tabs. You don't really need any special tools. You could use something as simple as a needle nose pliers. Because I do this every so often, I have these bent pliers. I am 1000% sure they have a special name. I don't know what it is. I always like to use pliers that open up with a spring because I like to keep the tension on it. You don't have to. So now what I do is I know that this is going to need a 2mm collar. I can get away with a 3mm, but I got 2 here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick this little collar, and this, because it's small, it takes a little time sometimes, right on my pliers here. Let me just get them both in. Let's see. This is a small one I'm doing, taking just a little bit of time. Okay. So now you can see how I have that on there. And these are pretty durable collars. I mean, they're made out of silicone. It's like a surgical tubing that we cut these out of. And we cut them out of all different colors too. Blue, green, black. Amber is pretty popular, standard. And, it's the least expensive as well, and no one really sees the collar. So we use a lot of amber. So that's the collar, and that's how it's on there. So then what I do is, what I like to do is, you have to get these tabs through that collar. And you could do it this way. You could kind of fold it in half a little bit, open it up, force it and so forth. I've been in the game a little bit. I cheat a little bit. And what I do is I will open it up a little bit. I'll stick another plier right in here like this. Okay. I will then grab my collars and I'll pull them through. And I know my fingers are blocking it, but you guys got the idea here on how they're going to come through. Now, it's not supposed to fall off that, but I was trying to show you something. So it slipped off there, but it's not a big deal. This is all, again, you could fix it yourself. Not a big deal at all. And what you do is just grab your collar and you just pull your collar down right to about the center is where you want to go. I like one side a little bit longer than the other side, so that's how I will set it up. But as you can see there, my collar is on. And you see these. I mean, you can even buy these collars and tabs already pre-made if you prefer someone else to make your tabs for you. But the whole thing is hobbyist, you got the winter off. Have some fun with it. So there's my brown and my orange and my clear. And so now we're basically like 99% done right here. What we're going to do is we're going to put the orange on the bottom. So I'm going to face the orange outward because I want the orange on this side. I'm going to go with the brown and the white on top. And you put the hook right in the center of the collar. And it's almost like if you're baiting. And that's it. You push the collar on, the collar is held on, and there it is. This is basically done. Now what we have to do is to perfect it, is get your scissors. And we're just going to cut off the ends of these tabs. And we used 3 tabs. So that means we're going to need 6 cuts, right? There's a closed end on each side. It looks like I have 2 more. I have this brown one I have to do. And I got this white one, this clear one here I got to do. All right. As you see, I've got my belly in the orange. Remember I told you because we put that white one on the inside, you see that's more, it's kind of over the brown. And you could trim it up too. I mean, if you're a perfectionist, you could say, I want this a little shorter, you know, the hook is here. I don't want it that far from the hook. So you could trim it a little bit like that. And you're going to make it a little smaller skirt. See? And there you go. You could go and put this in the water and fish it. And there you are. I hope this video showed you how to get it done, how to do it, how to have a fun time during the winter months, how to make your own jigs. It's not a big deal at all. It's very, very affordable, and you have a great time. This is Captain V. Hit me up at vince@allpronational.com. If you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them for you. I'll see you out on the water.